That's right. It's Bad Weather Fans, episode number 30 with Mike and Alex. Hope everybody's doing well. And welcome to a day where we have some fresh, hot news to talk about. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving making news on another podcast, on Kevin Durant's podcast. We'll get into all of that fun. Don't forget, you can find all this great content like Bad Weather Fans and some other great content available as I get my brain together on theprosclub.com is what I'm trying to say. Head on over. I got to be honest, Alex, my brain is just fucking fried.
Right. Well, that's what happens when we do this so early in the morning. It's 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, October 3rd, just so people know where we're at, just in case something comes out 5 minutes after we record this podcast, which always happens. You know, it always happens. Like Jamal Adams trade, Thibodeau getting hired. It's always something. It's always something right after the podcast. But, you know, this is what it is. This is why we're professionals.
I get that. I've just been running around like crazy with having a baby. I think because it just alters your life a little. There's no other way to put it. I'm not going to sit here and be like I'm the first person to ever have a kid. People have done it, but that's where I am in life. So my brain's just a little frazzled. But you're good.
Yeah, I'm good. And mazel tov to you on your graduation from CBS Sports Radio. Yes. I appreciate, that was great news. Well, I don't know if it was great news, but it was, congrats. You moved on. Next chapter of your life. I'm sure you're happy about it.
Yes, thank you very much, Alex. I did. I graduated from CBS Sports Radio. I left to become a full-time Uber Eats driver. Partially true.
Not 100% true.
Not true. No. I am working with a great podcast network on the side, a startup company. I'm doing producing for them, which is incredible. I'm super excited about that. I already have done some really fun podcasts about voting as we get ready for the upcoming election. And then going all in with you and the Pros Club and some other content that I've been working on for the past year and a half. So why not? Exciting. Yeah, man. It was just time to move on. It's all good.
Yeah, you were there for how many years?
Almost 8.
Wow, a long time. Yeah, it's not. Sometimes you hit a point at a company, you're just like, all right, it's time to go. It's no disrespect, and mutual agreement, not mutual agreement, but like not that you got fired, but like, no. You just want to move on to the next chapter, and I'm sure they understood. And
totally.
Great.
Yeah, they were cool with it. They were cool with it. Thanks, I appreciate that, Alex. Yeah, and the outpouring of people have been tremendous. Have been super nice about it. It's funny too because like I when you're producing a sports radio show, I didn't always produce. When I first got there, I was the board op for the Doug Gottlieb show. I worked with Doug, and then like technically the Jim Rome show, although I never even saw Jim. But
because he was in Cali, right?
Yeah, and I was kind of like, I don't know, too.
You were just the guy in New York, right? To him.
Yeah, pushing a couple things. It's too complicated to even explain. But then I became a producer, and it's funny, like when you're a producer, it becomes your job to know everything about sports. So the last month of not having it to be my job, it's been really nice, like having to go to the radio to have people tell you what's happening. I've thoroughly enjoyed that. Like I've done Uber Eats at night, and I'll put the Gelb show on. I was like, I like listening to Zach. I like producing his show, but it's kind of fun to be like, I didn't have to do any research. He's going to tell me what's going on. And I love that. That was cool.
Yeah. No, and you could shut off the alerts for Shams and Woj and Ian Rappaport and Schefter and I'm sure hockey news or shit that you don't even care about.
Dude, I've never been more excited to mute Tom Pelissero or whatever his name is.
Pelissero.
That guy had so many fucking breaking news tweets, and he does a great job. Nothing against Tom. But it was like, oh, no. What does Tom have to say about somebody on the Ravens?
He pissed me off Sunday morning, bro. He pissed me off. Or actually Thursday morning, when he was like, oh, the Jets are not firing Adam Gase if they lose. And, of course, the Jets lose, and to a third or fourth string quarterback. Not even Mark Rypien's son, Mark Rypien's nephew. And they blow it. And it's just, oh, God damn. And Gase is still a coach, and what are you going to do? So once I saw that and I saw his face pop up on TV in the morning, and I saw that, I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, so, yeah, I understand the Tom Pelissero hate, and it's not anything to the Pelissero family or Tom himself, but like, it's just give us some good news, man. Come on.
Yeah, the people I'm turning off, like hide notifications that are done. Like, there was a stretch over the summer where John Heyman, Ken Rosenthal,
baseball has so many. Jeff Passan.
Jeff Passan, he was on my list. Oh my! It was funny too because he would say I had them all on. So I would see who would get the news first, and then who would just piggyback off the other person.
Right.
I could do I wanted to keep standings, but I wasn't.
No,
that
and you know what's
motivated.
funny? It's like you can tell on Twitter who follows like political people and who doesn't. And
What do you
Trump
mean
goes
who?
into
Like
just
people in
like people
general?
that like random people like you and I that you follow on Twitter that you're friends with digitally, excuse me.
Yeah.
So like Trump tweets out himself that he gets coronavirus, and Shams pretty much just copy and pastes his tweet.
Well, that was funny.
And people are like, "Wow, Shams is breaking political news." I'm like, "Dude, did you even see like what just happened? Like, Shams didn't break. He doesn't have sources at the White House. You know what I mean? Like, people are just crazy."
No, that's just genius move by Shams to poke fun at, like he's the insider.
Right.
Copy it, and but the truth is, I mean,
he probably got 20,000 retweets on that or something. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what it's about. Yeah.
And he probably broke the news to a lot of people.
He probably did, because a lot of people don't follow Trump. I don't, but I saw somebody else retweet it. I was like, oh crap, like, man. So
no, I don't follow him either. I muted him.
Yeah, same.
It just
drives me
nuts.
nuts.
I don't put myself down a rabbit hole. That was a weird day yesterday.
Oh man.
Because I was doing Uber Eats, and you were one of a few people that were texting me like, you got to put on the TV. You got to put on TV.
Dude.
So I listened on the radio. It's not the same because you don't get the picture, but
right.
People are giving me the play-by-play of what's going on. It was I was at number one kitchen in Newark, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Right.
Is
the president dying? Like, he's in the hospital now, which is not good. And, it's, I don't want to say anything to get myself in trouble, but, let me just stop right there.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of his. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
And
you
whatever.
and I both.
So it is what it is. And it was just wild because like the helicopter was on the lawn and the ABC News breaks it. And it was just like, here's this helicopter. He's going to the hospital. And you're like, oh my God, is he dying like today? Like what's happening right now? Why are they taking a helicopter to the hospital that's down the street? Like, why do they really need to save the 10 minutes to get him to the hospital? Like, I'm just like, what's happening here?
Well, I mean, Friday afternoon. I'm not, I don't know, but I'm just,
but the president, you clear the freaking roads
in DC.
I mean, he cleared a bunch of protesters to go out and hold a Bible outside of a church. I mean, he can clear the roads to drive to the hospital. Yeah. I mean, it's just it was bizarre. I mean, so
the optics of a helicopter enhance everything. Whenever I mean, when you that's like when you see a helicopter in the sky like that, you're like, oh God, what happened? Like whatever. I'm blanking on the name. But when you see in the sky and you see, a disaster in there, you're like, oh my God, I hope whoever's in there get them to where they need to go. So the optics of seeing somebody being taken out who's the president of the country, I mean, it's just the whole thing is, where the backstory, the mask, the not wearing the mask, putting down people for not wearing masks. I mean, the whole thing, like you can't, the irony with all of it. Yeah. So we both won't get ourselves in trouble.
Yeah, let's stop. But
all right, so Kevin Durant has his own new podcast.
Speaking of hypocrites.
What's that?
Speaking of hypocrites.
Speaking of these are your boys. ETC podcast. So smart move by Durant, I'll say, though, getting Kyrie Irving on. The first guest, if you're looking for downloads, good idea.
Yep.
And the funny thing about these podcasts, too, is there'll be like 2 hours of content, but this is the only thing that people will talk about.
He's got to make sure this one doesn't get canceled, too. So, you know what I mean? He's got to get the big guests on this time,
What guy? Does that thing get canceled?
Wasn't he in the boardroom or something?
Oh,
and then ESPN dropped it, and then they're like, "Oh, it's not a cancellation. It's whatever. Who cares?"
Yeah, I didn't listen to the full thing to be fair. So I don't want to. I think, to be honest, like I don't want to judge anybody's podcast if I haven't heard it. I don't think that's fair.
Right. But I mean, we're hearing clips, and like we're gonna play in a second. This is
we're hearing clips, but the point is, I'm just saying, like, who knows? 90 minutes of content. Here's 2 minutes. That's the chunk that's found, but that's the way it works. That's the way the news cycle works.
Don't put it out if you don't want people to pick it apart.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just amazing to me. You could do 2 hours of content, but 95% of the audience will never have heard that.
No, and it's like when you put out, like, I've had some tweets that I deleted that people got really mad at me about in regards to Kyrie Irving. People know. But like the entire day I'm saying one thing, and then I say one thing that I didn't put out as clearly as I wanted it to be, and people took it as I'm being a complete asshole. And it's just like, I understand that. You know what I'm saying? And you just have to apologize and move on. And there's nothing you can do about it. So it is what it is.
So anyway. Here's Kyrie Irving, who was on Kevin Durant's podcast. You're going to hear the sound from them. Credit to their podcast, ETC Kevin Durant's pod. Here's Kyrie Irving. First part of this, he talks about the relationship with Kenny Atkinson. Then he slightly moves on to Steve Nash and the coaching staff and everything that's surrounding that. So again, here is Nets all-star guard, Kyrie Irving.
I want to give a shout out to Kenny Atkinson because, some people came out and was like, yo, Kai and KD got Kenny fired. And look, that was completely false. Listen, Kenny was great for the group that he served. And I was very appreciative of what he was giving us throughout the season when we were playing. We always heard how great Nash was or saw how great Nash was as a player, but also when you get to know him as a person, you understand why he can coexist with us, because we don't need somebody to come in and put their coaching philosophy on everything that we're doing and change up the wheel and, yo, you guys need to start doing this. And we start running on the first day of practice. And it's just like, no, I need somebody that's going to understand that I am a human being first. I serve my community and where I come from first. And then basketball is something I come and do every single day because I love. And also I have the right ingredients and people around me to come in and do my job at a high level. And I know that they will hold me accountable to that level. There's no disrespect to Kenny or any other coaches I play with. It's just Steve coming in at this moment and then following up with putting together a great coaching core was going to make us more successful.
I get it. Makes sense. No, I mean, a lot to unpack there with Kyrie. We could go in a few angles. Let's start from the beginning.
Good place to start.
They wanted Kenny Atkinson fired.
Oh yeah,
but I almost.
But he's saying he didn't.
No, he's saying he didn't. He's lying.
Yeah.
You hear why he acts. I almost feel like in the second part of the answer gives you access into why he wanted him fired. Mm-hmm. He talks about all the things he likes with Steve, and he's basically, when he lays that out, he's telling you the things that Coach Kenny could not do for him. I'm not saying as a coach. I'm saying for Kyrie, which is why Coach Kenny Atkinson worked so well with the Nets when they were a bunch of no-name guys working hard, because he did the things that, I don't know, coaches do. So
God forbid.
So he was doing the things that coaches do, and that's how we got the most out of D'Angelo Russell. That connected with D'Lo. D'Lo was in trouble. D'Lo comes to the Nets. He got him going again. We know
it was a perfect player for Atkinson and the Nets.
It all came together.
Yeah.
Dinwiddie, they were all coached by Atkinson. He got them better.
Right.
Now Kyrie's in Durant, different position. That's why it doesn't make sense in their head for them. So I think to allude to the first part, they got Kenny fired. He answered it in the second part of this quote.
Yeah, so he contradicts himself as usual. Kyrie does. He says, I was like, yo, Kai and KD got Kenny fired, and that's completely false. But then later on, he's like, I don't want to have to be running wind sprints in practice, and Durant laughs in the background. And it's like, all right, so you're pretty much this entire statement and this entire podcast is putting Steve Nash on notice. Like, bro, if you don't do what we say, we're going to get you fired too. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like kind of like Steve Nash is probably sitting there like, okay, well, I guess I just have to do whatever they want. So right now there is no structure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand star players run teams anyway. It's just the fact that he's saying it and there isn't even that perception that they can be coached. What about the Jared Allens? What about the Dinwiddies, the Leverts, these guys that are really like, well, why don't they have to do it? I got to do this, but they don't. Should I listen to you? You know what I'm saying? It's not a good way to have a team, and this is not a good start, man. I got to be honest, and I'm not just being a jerk. Like, I want to be. Like, I'm being like, I would say this about any team. I would say this about the Knicks. Like, this is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Some of the so
to a certain extent, I don't think it's as that big of a deal as you're putting it out there like that. That wouldn't it didn't strike me in like a fear level. I've heard a lot of interviews with Nash too, and I think all that matters is what they do internally and connect. I can't speak for what Jared Allen thinks of these guys. He might think they're schmucks. He might think they're dicks. He might. I mean, there's certainly a good chance that he does. But I do think the more and more I like the Nash hiring, and I think he's going to click with them. Now, do you want to go into this whole idea of like coaches aren't coaches anymore? I think that's a lot of bullshit too. I think the best coaches in NBA history, the best coach in NBA history coddled his players to a certain extent, and Phil Jackson. Let Dennis Rodman go to Las Vegas for 3 days.
Look at Pop, Coach Pop. He was able to coach Duncan, and Duncan let him coach him, and that's why he was able. Maybe that's why he was able to develop all these players that were bottom of the first round, second round picks into stars.
But the point. What I'm saying about Phil is his best attribute wasn't as much. It was just getting these guys to work together, and he was the master at it. We saw him do it. We saw him do it in 2 places, beautifully, in Chicago and LA, and he put it all together. Now, I don't think like Michael Jordan would have policed this kind of bullshit with Kyrie. I don't think something like that. But I do think. I think your point that maybe how do his other teammates react to him, and that could create chaos in the locker room, very fair. That would worry me. But as far as Durant, Kyrie, and Nash, I think they're going to be all good together. I think they're going to be in sync.
He better play DeAndre Jordan also.
That doesn't bother me. What's that?
Messing with it. I said he better play DeAndre Jordan also.
We'll see what happens. I mean, the Nets need depth and rebounding. I mean, I'll just be straight with you. Like, they need DeAndre Jordan because they need somebody to help with, like, in the bubble, they got killed on the glass. But
they need the 2 centers. I mean, they went into the bubble without their center, so they're back up with their starter.
They need players. That I get. I understand your point about the maybe, like, does it cause a disruption within the locker room? I guess potentially. But as far as Durant, Kyrie, and Nash, I don't think that's a. I think Nash knows what he's getting himself into. I don't think he's going into that and being. I think he gets it. I don't think that worries him. I don't. I think Nash would answer the question and he'd go, "Yeah, they're right. That's what we're doing." I think he would say that.
Yeah. Well, it also furthers the what's his name? The GM. I can't think of his name right now. Sean Marks. It just shows that he completely handed over the keys to the team to Kyrie and Durant. And if anybody says a different right now, then they're just full of they're just homers. They're full of it. There's no way that these guys aren't making every personnel decision. Any trade that he makes this offseason, any acquisition he makes this offseason is always going through Kyrie and Durant, and that's the way that it is. And that's fine, but don't act like it's not. That's all I'm saying. And then it's just you are going all in on 2 guys that are not healthy, that don't stay consistently healthy. I mean, Durant did until he tore his Achilles, but we don't know what it's going to be now. And you're going all in on these guys, and you guys are all, you're doing it, and so is a lot of other Net fans, and that's fine. I understand you're excited. Like, who's beating us next year? Look at these teams. Well, we don't know what the Bucks are going to do this offseason. We don't know what the Bulls are – not the Bulls. The Heat are going to do this offseason. I'm thinking Jimmy Butler is a Bull. We don't know what these other teams are going to do to improve as well. So we can't just be like, well, the Nets are going to be fine. Kyrie and Kevin are going to be fine, and they're going to be healthy, and they're going to be great, and we're going to be a title contender. Who's beating us? We don't know. There might be another team that comes out of nowhere that improves their team, makes a great trades for Bradley Beal or something, and then it's just like, whoa, look at this team now.
No, I hear you. I mean, the Nets are in the mix for to win the East.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I don't know how you want to, if you want to describe it as they're the best team, they're the 4th team. Who the hell knows? I mean, there's a lot of things there's a lot of questions to be answered. But if you're going to just say, when we go into next season, I'm going to tell you the Nets are in the mix to win the East. They definitely are. I mean, are they better than the Miami? Are they better than the Bucks? I don't know. I don't know yet.
That's assuming health, of course.
But I'll take I'll take my chances with the roster. I like it. I like there's like priority 1 is signing Joe. I've talked about that forever. They've got to re-sign Joe Harris. They've got to I'm not even falling for that bait. They've got to sign Joe Harris. I mean, they have to. Like, that's priority 1.
Right.
And then from there, there's probably another move to be made if it's like a Serge Ibaka type, somebody that can come in and give them depth and rebound and shoot threes on the outside. They're not done making moves. Now, if that's Kevin Durant dictating the move, so be it. And you know what? There's no way around it. I mean, Kevin Durant's running the team. I mean, Kyrie Irving's running the team. And I've said this, and I'll say it again. The Nets made a deal with the devil.
Right.
They made a deal with the devil. We've debated back and forth on this. You were like, oh, they should have taken a chance with Tobias Harris. Look how that turned out.
Or Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler's proven, okay, he's been awesome. But I mean, and I've said this and I will repeat it. The Nets had no chance to win a championship if they took that path. None. It would not happen. At least now they have a chance. Could it blow up in their face? Of course. Could it be a disaster? Of course. Could it be a train wreck? Of course. Could they win the title? They could. So as a fan, am willing to make that deal. I have never seen the Nets win a title. Do I want to just be the fucking Indiana Pacers every year? No, at least they have a chance. So far, it's been bad. Kyrie's been bad. Durant, there's no answers yet. Off the court, he's been a disaster with the things he says. He's been annoying. But if Kevin Durant goes on the court, puts up 36, and the Nets are 10-2, I don't care. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I don't care. I mean, he's not doing – is he an – I could understand if he's not on your team how annoying he must be. He must be so annoying. But if he goes on the team and you're 10-2 and the guy's putting up 30 and 8 and he's looking fantastic, I'm going to go, all right, Kevin, what's the next play? Coach us. I don't care. I just don't. I'm going to be honest. I want to win.
I hear you. And I say all the time that coaches in the NBA are irrelevant when you have these star players. But you can't just put it out there like that, man.
No,
you can't. You can't do what Kyrie just did. Like, you can't do it. And Durant sitting there laughing in the background as he's saying it. They're like, look at these motherfuckers. You can believe they gave us this team? Like, they're sitting there like, we're running this shit. If you want us to play, we will legitimately sit out. Basketball is second to me. Kyrie literally said basketball is second to me. This is what I want to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. And if you don't do it, I'll sit out. Do you want that kind of guy on your team? Like, I mean, like, I wanted Kyrie on the Knicks for sure. Like, it's still this offseason, I wanted him on the Knicks. I was upset when they didn't sign him. That was a big L for me. But Durant, I didn't want once he got hurt. We've been through that. But I didn't want this. I was like, wow, the Celtics are the ones, like these players, like how selfish are they? They didn't want to listen to Kyrie. He's a champion. How can they not do this? I was defending Kyrie. And like, look what happened this year. Kyrie, like, he got hurt. I'm sure he was actually hurt. I don't know the severity of it, but he plays 20 games this year, sits out. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the Celtics are in the Eastern Conference Finals again, and people are mocking them like, oh, you can't blame Kyrie for this one. I was like, what the hell did Kyrie do this year without them? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about right now?
There's no question. There's no questions around it. It's a big season for Kyrie. He's got to go on there and prove himself.
Career's on, what I mean? His reputation's on the line right now.
He's got to play well. I said it before, and if Kevin Durant wasn't coming to the Nets, I wouldn't want Kyrie alone. I mean, that was a no-brainer. Yeah. But when you said you bring in Kevin Durant, I think we're all forgetting this guy. And I know where your rebuttal is going to be, and I know what's coming. But this guy's a top 3 player in the league. Like, this is not Jimmy Butler. This is not Tobias Harris.
It's a tier 1 star. Tier 1 star.
This is a all-time player. So if Kevin Durant comes and he is 80 to 90% of if he's 70% of what he is, the Nets can go out there and win. I mean, he is that good of a player. So I understand what you're like, and I say it, and this my agenda is being accomplished. So I'm going to push aside the Kyrie Irving bullshit. I will. But if it goes into next season and Durant doesn't look good and Kyrie's hurt, people should mock the Nets and make fun of them. I mean, they should. I mean, that's just the way it works. Like they did with the Clippers. If this doesn't come together and they suck, you could say all this stuff. But back to your point about this is just a bad look. Of course it is. I mean, this is just what Kyrie does, man. He shoots at the mouth and he says what he wants. And the problem is, I am all for players saying whatever they feel like. I'm all about that. I think it's really important that players have a voice and are able to talk. But at the same time, don't be surprised when you put down, your organization and make comments like that. People are going to run with it. There's consequences for your words. There's consequences for when you say something and put down your coach, or you say this is the way things are going to be. Like, this is, I think Richard Jefferson said it, like, I don't want to paraphrase it exactly, but it was like, you're creating your own clickbait. So don't be surprised. Right. That's what he basically said. He's like, this is happening because you're creating this.
Yeah, TMZ didn't grab you on the street and ask you a question. Like, you put this out. You knowingly and willingly put this out. Yeah. Good point by Richard Jefferson. You knowingly and willingly put this out. You knew what you were going to do. Don't complain when people pick apart what you're saying. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not Tim Duncan sitting in the Virgin Islands and at home with his parents and hanging out, and somebody comes up and like overhears you at a coffee shop talking to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Don't complain. Yeah. No, the Nets have totally gone full heel. Like, they're going to be hated next year. Totally. I mean, they're going to be like direct, but I think, but not really, not by ESPN. No, but fans are going to not like the Nets. Like, and I get that, but which is kind of like, to me, I think it's kind of cool because
it's cool if you win.
If they start off 5
totally.
and 7, you'll be like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure. But I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
I've never had a team that was hated. I think that's kind of cool. I mean, all my teams have been lovable losers. I mean, the Giants, I guess maybe the Giants have been hated, but they've just been the Giants.
Not really, because nobody wanted the Patriots to win anyway in both those.
Exactly. So we're in recent memory.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, the Nets have been
But the
irrelevant.
80s Giants probably were.
Not even
but,
the Nets haven't been. Nobody was rooting for the Nets or rooting against the Nets. The Nets have been irrelevant. So to me, I think it's kind of cool if they go into next season and if there's fans,
well,
like let's just say in theory there were fans and Durant gets booed. I think that's cool.
Yeah, well, that goes back to my point last offseason that the Nets did all of this just to be relevant. They did all of this just to become a team that's being talked about. They didn't do this to win. Like,
yes,
they might win also. They might win also.
No,
but this was more about becoming a team
less.
and becoming a team that's out in the forefront. To me,
couldn't disagree with you more. You think they're just doing this not to win? Every organization.
I think a lot of it is. They built this culture and they were so proud of it, and they built up this team from nothing. Look at this. Now we got these guys, and now we're relevant. Look at us.
It's a consequence of it. It's a consequence of it that you become relevant. But they went out there trying to win. I don't buy for a second that they're making these moves saying, oh, you know what? We're not going to win a championship, but at least we'll be relevant again. No, teams are going out there making moves to win basketball games. The Nets made moves to win basketball games. Say what you want about Durant. The Nets brought in the top 3 player in the world. When they did that, it was to win a fucking championship. It was to win a title. It wasn't to get back page winnings. That comes with it. It came with that. Because of what Durant and Kyrie bring, it comes with that. You know what? And I've said it. I want to win. But do I enjoy some net headlines? This one not as much. But do I enjoy that the Nets are interesting? Do I enjoy that Knicks fans now are annoyed by the Nets? Yeah, I get a kick out of it. I like it. Like, I like the fact that I'm seeing people on Twitter going, I wouldn't want this. I'm happy with where I am as a Knicks fan. Okay. You would never have mentioned that before. And like I said, is it number 1 on my priority list? No. Winning a title is. But it is fun to see in the background. It is. Because I don't like the Knicks. I despise the Knicks. I don't like other teams. I don't like the Celtics. I'm ready to be relevant. You know what? It does feel good. But was that the number 1 priority? Absolutely not.
To me, I just think winning is a priority to them. Don't get me wrong. Of course, they want to win. But I think it's second to getting headlines. I think it's second to getting to becoming relevant and being what you're saying. Because when you're relevant, you're on ESPN, you're being talked about, you're selling more tickets, you're able to raise these ticket sales, you're able to make more money off merchandise, and get the next generation of fans that everybody keeps talking about. This is what they want before winning, because if they don't win a title in the next 4 years, but they're relevant, winning 50 games a year, getting to the second or third round of the playoffs, and they never win, it's a success for the Brooklyn Nets bottom line, and that's what they care about the most. That's why they did it all together, in my opinion. And that's why a lot of teams wanted to do it as well. You know what I'm saying? But the Nets especially, because they've been so irrelevant. And that's just how I feel. And especially that's why they're doing whatever Kyrie and KD say, because they're like, oh, my God, please don't sit out. Please don't leave. Please don't demand a trade. We need you. We need you because this will be a complete disaster if you're here for a year and then demand a trade. You know
I said they made a deal with the devil with them. And that was a consequence of it, is that Durant and Kyrie are making moves. We knew that before going into it, what it was going to be. But to say that the Nets made these moves thinking this is our one sole goal is number 1 is to get relevant. Number 2 is to win a title. I can't accept that. I can't accept that any organization would go into that. I can't accept that Sean Marks making these moves with his legacy on the line to be a great GM is going, I want to make these moves so that the Brooklyn Nets can make money in 20 years from now. No, Sean Marks is making trades and making deals because he wants to cement himself as a great GM. He didn't go from San Antonio as a number 2, which was a cushy job, I'm sure, to take a chance on a dumpster fire roster that was completely destroyed, that had no – imagine being like, okay, I'm going to hand you over the keys to a team that has no assets in draft picks. So when you tank, it doesn't even matter because you don't get picks. So you have a dumpster fire roster, and then you have no draft picks. He went to that team and turned it around and made them a playoff team. And then the next step was he got Durant and Kyrie. I can't imagine that Sean Marks, who took over from the job when they were nothing, was like, you know what? I'm at the next stage. Let's make them relevant. No, he wants to win a championship. He wants to go out there and prove he's one of the greatest GMs in the league. Look what I did. He's got an ego. He's got a heart and a passion for wanting to be great. That was Sean Marks' goal, was to go out there. Does does all this stuff come with it? Yes. Is it a good thing for the Nets organization? Let's say, like to your point, 50 games, third round, second round, and it sets them up for tiers to be successful future? Of course it is. Of course it's part of it. But the number one priority is winning a championship.
Okay. But we also say, you know, Sean Marks got to this point, but now he's irrelevant. Now the decisions don't go through him. The decisions go through Kyrie and Durant. So now from here on, he can't, if he sees a decision like, hey, I can make this trade and get this guy and it'll fit perfect, and this is what I think that will be the next step for us winning a title and put us over the top. But Kyrie and KD say, nah, we don't want that guy. He can't make that deal. So it's not really on him in the future to make the team even better from where you guys are now. So how much credit? So he's already been a success. Like he doesn't even need to win a title in order to be a successful GM. If he gets fired tomorrow, he'll get a job in 10 seconds. Somebody will fire a GM just to hire him. So he is already a success. He doesn't even need to win a title either. That's what I'm saying right now.
But okay, maybe from a public perception you want to say that, but the guy, I mean, he's a winner. He wants to win. Like, you don't go into work every day. His goal is to get them to a title. I mean, it's true. I don't know what it's going to look like moving forward when deals have to be made, when deadline deals have to be done. I think, though, that, and I my fingers crossed here, that Durant and Sean are in good sync together because, I mean, the stars aligned for Steve Nash. If you look at when you first heard it, you're like, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. Right. But now a month later, you're like, it makes perfect sense.
Well, I don't know about perfect sense, but it makes sense. It's like a guy who's on their level that can talk to them on their level. And I know
but like the stars align. Sean Marks and Steve Nash are best friends. They've known each other for 20 years. So instant, like, okay, where did Steve Nash come from? Well, the guy's known each other for 20 years. Okay.
He was in Golden State.
But Durant, how would he know Steve Nash? Oh, they became good buds in Golden State where Durant started to respect him. So you go, okay, Sean Marks really, really, really likes Steve Nash on a personal level, and I'm sure he does obviously on a basketball level. So like this, like if from that perspective, you're like, this makes a lot of sense. Right. Your star player likes the guy a lot, and your GM is best friends with him, and obviously likes the guy a lot. It makes sense. So they, like when you think like oh, okay, that comes together. So I just think Sean Marks, even though, like, you're right, he gets fired today, any team would want him in a second. Job. Any job.
He's
for what
a success already. He's already a success. But he doesn't have to win. He's already a success.
But
to win a title will be even more. I
there's no way to like if you go from you took the Nets to where they were to where they are now, success. If you were able to take that roster with no assets and win a championship in 5 to 6 years, that is an all-time GM performance. All-time.
Sure. And we see how difficult it is to win in the NBA. Look at all the teams that have been rebuilding the right way, quote unquote right way, for a decade, like the Suns and the Kings and the teams like that, the Bulls. They can't get over the top.
Right. But it's so tough to get talent.
Right. But at the same time, Kyrie is basically saying in his quote on Durant's podcast, or Durant's laughing in the background, like, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to sit out. Like, you know what I mean? How can you make a decision as a GM and have any credibility as a GM from here forward with your star players laughing and making, like, literally saying, like, you don't have any say, motherfucker. Like, what are you talking about? I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. And if you don't, basketball's second for me anyway. I want to go, do whatever I got to do.
Yeah, that part of it's I understand that part of it's alarming. I mean, it is.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's alarming.
Don't get me wrong, though. People don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I think it's great how Kyrie stands up for social justice issues. I think it's great how he stands up for his community. I think it's great how he gives back. I think he's great with everything he does off the court for his community. I think that's wonderful. Kevin Durant as well. I'm not saying he shouldn't do that. I'm saying putting it on wax that basketball is second. You know what I mean? He's pretty much saying, I already got my title. I already got my pub. I already got my money. Now you better do what I say or I'm not playing.
See, I don't perceive it that way. I think it's so important for him to let people know that he's more than a basketball player, that he makes it a point. I do. I think he's going to go in there. Now, does he's not Jimmy Butler. He's not Michael Jordan. He doesn't have that attitude, but I do think when he's in there, he cares and loves it so much. He wants you to know that he's more than a basketball player, so he overemphasizes it, and I think that creates what your rant right there and having concerns. So So we'll find out. We'll
But
find
what
out.
else- he
Like
said
for
something
me,
also-
like for
Yeah, go
like for me, the bigger issue with Kyrie is I think he's committed. I think he loves it. I think he's there. The guy never is healthy.
Mhm.
Like he's got to be. He doesn't play. That's the bigger problem. Like I, these are all words that are said that are thrown around because it was on a podcast. The bigger issue is Kyrie. I hope you got to play the games, man. You got to be there. And there's no excuses now. Durant's here. It's time to go. So my tune will change very quickly. I promise you that. Like if we go into next season and it's the same shit again, and Durant's not the same player,
Kyrie plays 30 games.
I won't even give it on Durant because I know he's giving everything.
Yeah, right.
Like if he's not as good,
we can't
I
say
can't
that he's not right now.
I can't.
He's doing everything. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
not fair for me to be.
No,
like,
it's
Durant,
not.
you're not the same player. Like no, that got to be like, Nets, you made a bad move. Not Durant, you're not the same guy. That's an organizational thing.
Right.
Because I'm going to be fair. Like I will be fair with that. But Kyrie's got to. They're putting a big target on their back, and they are going full heel, and they are pissing people off. They are annoying people. They are doing everything they can to be like a nuisance. I just hope, and I know it will for Durant because I know he likes this shit, that they're using this as motivation to go out and win a championship together.
Then they're creating. I mean, I guess it's kind of like the Michael Jordan thing where he creates motivation for himself. Like why, like Kyrie also said on that podcast that, Durant is the first teammate he trusts to hit clutch shots. Like you're like, how do you not see that you're going to ignite the LeBron fan base there? Or is that what you wanted because you care about your buddy's podcast more than this team, like than the Nets? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? Like how you're not some rookie. You're not in your fourth year. You've been in the NBA for like a decade. It's just like, what are you thinking about, man?
That maybe he's just, maybe
he doesn't care. And that's the
maybe
thing.
he's
He
being
doesn't
honest.
care.
He just doesn't care. Maybe that's his honest answer.
Yeah.
That's what I think
bizarre.
it is. I think he really means that. And he just said it. Now, I personally, if I had those kind of feelings on whatever the level was, I wouldn't make those comments out loud.
Not voluntarily.
No, I would not.
Somebody asks you a question directly. Obviously you're going to defend your teammate.
Off the record,
off
the record, if we're bullshitting at a bar and we're having a couple drinks and we're talking and there's no COVID and we're at the bar, and I'd be like, yeah, man, like Durant's, I don't know who's he's having this conversation with, or something that would be more comparable that we could understand. Be like, yeah, like,
man, that's
I didn't trust him there. Yeah. But to say it publicly for a national level, I think he just either he doesn't understand what the words are going to do. He might.
He understands. He understands.
He might just like the attention. Honestly,
well, they did it to promote Durant's new podcast.
Yeah,
they risked the Nets culture, quote unquote, to promote Kevin Durant's podcast.
That's been burned to the ground a year ago.
Oh yeah. But this current team, he risked the locker room and undermined his coach already. To promote Kevin Durant's podcast. I
don't think he undermined the coach already. I think him and Nash are in lockstep, and we'll find out about. Like I said before, we'll find out about the locker room. We'll see what happens.
Right. We'll see.
I think it's been blown way out of proportion on that front. Like, oh, let's go in here and Joe Harris isn't going to like you anymore. Spencer Dumas. These guys are friends. I think they get a kick out of all of this when they see guys like us talking about it and making a nuisance of it.
Well, he better not make him run on the first day of practice. I'll tell you that. Don't run. No running, Kyrie. Just sit. Are you okay to run now? Can you run now? Is that okay?
I just want to see. I can't wait. I hope we have. I just want to see them play, man. I just want to see.
Well, thank God this finals is going to be a sweep, so we can get this bubble over with and we can start next season.
You watch game Christmas. 2?
I watched part of it and I was just bored. This is the most boring final. This is the most boring finals ever, and they can't stop Anthony Davis, and the Heat are hurt, and they just have no shot. You know what I mean? So it's just like going in. It's just you're watching it with no emotion. You know that there's no chance.
This is I talked
watching
about
the Jets.
It's bad. It's and I talked about last week. I think it was last week where it was like I had the baby and it was kind of fun to watch these games. I had to put diners, drive-ins, and dives on last night. I couldn't take it. I couldn't do it. It was just like I was just like, this is I can't. This is not the NBA Finals.
No. It's not, and this sucks. It just sucks. The
And it's
bubble
not their
in general,
fault.
it's not their fault. And if the Bucks weren't soft and didn't get knocked off,
That's
then
the problem.
If
the Bucks
we
should be
did
here.
the Giannis LeBron matchup, that was the one that we wanted, and we didn't get it, or at least give us something a little like the Celtics. At least would have a little more sizzle because it's Lakers Celtics again. You know what I'm saying? But Lakers Heat, and LeBron playing the Heat is not the same. Wade's not there. I mean, I guess Haslam is still there and Spoelstra is still there, but it's just not the same. There's no crowd. There's no, he's not walking into Miami. The memories are coming back playing in the arena and Wade sitting courtside, and there's none of that. And it sucks. So
it sucks.
Thank God it's going to be a sweep, and we can get this bubble over with, so we can finally get to this NBA draft, and we can get to the offseason moves that everybody's going to make, and Joe Harris can sign with the Knicks, and we can get going. You know what I'm saying? That'd be nice.
You've got to stop saying that.
Sorry. Oh, you're actually getting mad now? Okay.
Yeah, you got to stop saying that.
All right.
But I am excited for the offseason. Like that.
I'm sorry. Why are you actually mad? You're like legit mad. I'm sorry.
Because,
I didn't mean. I'm just busting your balls. I really want that, but I just throw it in there every now.
Joe's
and then
not going there. He likes his 10-minute walk. He's not driving 2 hours. Where do the Knicks practice? In Poughkeepsie? In
Westchester somewhere. Who knows?
They practice in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Tarrytown.
Where do they practice in Oklahoma City? That's a pain in the ass. Where do the Knicks practice?
They practice in Albany.
Tallahassee.
They take
Where
a
do the Knicks
3-hour
practice?
drive.
Where was it? Omaha. The Knicks practice. Where is that awful Knicks practice that no one?
They
wants
really
to
need to
go
get a new practice facility because the Nets have such a nice one and they practice outside. So we got to do that too. You know what I'm saying?
The Nets do have a nice practice.
Oh
facility.
No, it's great. That's
It's
why
beautiful.
they signed there, of course.
Well, I haven't even seen the Knicks practice facility. Is it operational?
I think so.
Actually, that's a good point. Every damn Knick video I've seen of a highlight of the last 3 years has come from that building.
Well, Mitchell Robinson's shooting threes in the corner last night. Did you see that? They're showing Thibodeau's working on him shooting threes in the corner. Okay, great. Let's see it in a game. What I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway. Oh, damn. I wanted to say something. I forgot. But anyway, whatever. We'll see what happens. And I'm just happy the finals is over. This finals is a wrap. It's a wrap.
What's the timeline for the offseason? Do you know? Do we know?
I have no idea. I think the draft was going to come in November around Christmas. We said around Thanksgiving is the draft.
That'd be fun.
So they were talking about pushing the start of next season into January and not Christmas. But you got to start it on Christmas. You can't have NBA with no Christmas, especially if this is a finals. Like I said, thankfully the finals is a wrap like chicken Caesar. You know what I'm saying?
God.
That's what me and my friends always do. We always do that. We my buddy Corey and I, we always say, oh, it's a wrap like, buffalo chicken. Like we just start mentioning our own wraps.
I gotcha.
It's pretty funny. Okay.
Now I'm going to do this every time I think of it. Damn you.
It's a wrap like, whole wheat wrap with turkey, lettuce, tomato, onion, and mustard. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like, do you like mayonnaise?
I'm a fan of mayonnaise, but I'm not as much in my older age. I like it. Like, it's just, I feel like it's I don't know.
I hate
it. Yeah. I don't hate it. You hate it.
I like an aioli though.
Interesting.
I could get a little flavor in there, but straight mayo, don't like it.
I'm a big fan of pesto. I've become like a huge fan of pesto at my older age.
Oh, of course.
Pesto is just
who doesn't like pesto? The thing about pesto is expensive and caloric.
It is. I don't know why. It's one of those things. Like it's always like
it's tough to make.
Oh, you want pesto? Are you rich?
It's actually more expensive to make it than buy it.
Who knows about that?
Want me to get some basil? I'll show you.
Sure. Speaking of green, the Jets suck. Like, what are we doing here? How is Gase not fired, man? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, you see Darnold can run. He runs that crazy run. Mahomes and LeBron are tweeting about, like, holy crap, did you see that? And, like, I was just like, I thought he was going to slide. I'm sure you know the play I'm talking about. And then all of a sudden, like, they blow it. And it's just like, well, how is this guy still the coach? Like, what are we doing right now? I know the owner wants to save face now because he just said he was a genius like 2 weeks ago, and then he's going to fire him 2 weeks later. But you got to read the room, man. And I know Greg Williams doesn't deserve the job right now, but give it to Vitt. Give it to somebody who's there. Like, just anybody. Just run the team. Like, look what the Browns did a couple years ago with Freddie Kitchens took over. And who that was Freddie Kitchens? And you know what I mean? Like, or there was Greg Williams. Greg Williams took over, but then they handed it to Freddie Kitchens after that. I mean, it didn't work out. But whatever. They just pieced it together that year when they fired the coach, and it was just like they had to get him out of here. And it's just the Jets are just a mess. And now what are they going to do? They're going to draft Trevor Lawrence and have this crappy team with Trevor Lawrence. You know what I mean? Like it's just going to be the same thing over and over another 5 years with Trevor Lawrence and this and that. So I got a hypothetical for you actually with that.
Yep.
Let's say, Darnold has its ups and downs, but, mostly, he looks kind of good. And he's like, all right, if we get Gase out of here, he can be something decent, maybe like a Chad Pennington type or something like that. Just get the number one pick. Somebody offers the Jets a Godfather offer, like one of those 1, 2, 3, 4 this year, 1, 2, 3, 4 next year, maybe another player involved or like another one. Do you make that trade and get, trade the potential to take Trevor Lawrence just so you can build your team because you have your cupboard is bare, what would you do? I'm not saying I'd do it. I'm wondering what you think.
I think you take Trevor.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. I think for Darnold's sake, I think it would just be interesting to see him on another team that's competent in what he would look like. I think you just got to move on. I know it sucks, and you just got to do it. I mean, at this point, it's like, it's over, like it's over.
Right. And we don't know what's going to happen the next 2 months, 3 months. So he could turn it around and maybe play better and be like, all right, you know what? He looks all right. He's you can win with this guy. Like I was saying, like a Chad Pennington type. I don't know if he's going to be a star right now with the Jets because Jets are kind of ruining him, and he could turn it around. You never know. Like Drew Brees turned it around later in his career. There's guys that can get it better.
Oh, sure.
As they get older.
I think Darnold's going to be good somewhere else. I just think it's over. I just don't know how you can correct this. It just feels done. Like, when it's like, it's time to move on. Maybe I'm a slight overreaction because they're 0-4 and it's been a disaster.
But they're not even 0-4. They're non-competitive.
Yeah, it's just. But he also, the guy's got nobody to throw the ball to, so it's tough.
Yeah,
it's hard to judge him being on a bad organization with a bad head coach with nobody to throw the football to. Like, what if he was on the 49ers? Like, he'd be good.
Right. What if like, he goes to another team and he becomes great and then Trevor Lawrence is trash? Like, then what are we doing? You know what I mean? Well, that's just perfectly what's going to happen.
Then you're just back. Then you'll be worried. Then you'll be looking to draft whoever's the quarterback, LeBron James' son, or I don't know, whoever's available.
It's going to happen. Sam Darnold's going to go win a Super Bowl with the Bears, and the Jets are going to draft Trevor Lawrence, and he's going to be, Kellen Clements, and we're just going to be like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? It's just bad. It's just what's going to happen.
Football's bad, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just mad. I just don't understand. Okay, so you want to do? Let's get our little picks going here because we did. So last week you went. Let's see. Hold on. Let me find it. You went 1-2, and I went 2-1 in our picks. So I am in the lead because we did just Jets Giants and the Monday night game. And you suck. So, so now let's get the picks as I get them up as they go. Okay. So the Jets already played. So let's do the Giants and then the Sunday night and the Monday night game. All right. So the Giants are going at Rams and the Giants are getting 12.5 points.
I'll take the Giants. I have a good feeling about New York this week. They're well coached. They're going to turn it around. That's a lot of points. Coming off that disaster against 49ers, feeling down. This team's going to show the resilience and grittiness that Joe Judge brings to New York. I'm liking the Giants. And, Daniel Jones had one of his worst performances of his career, really, in week 3 when it was a problem when his running game was better than passing. I think you're going to see a big step up from the Giants. I don't know if they win the game, but I think they're going to show out and at least put a good performance on the field for the fans.
I saw a stat. Daniel Jones finally started his 16th game or something like that, and he has around 36 turnovers. That is not ideal. I'll just put it that way. 36. So, but I think he's gonna. I think that they'll cover. I'll put it that way. I don't think they're gonna win, but I think 12.5. I can't ever bet against 12.5 points. Let's put it that way. Unless you're the Browns of a couple of years ago when they went.
Can I just add one point? But you got the great young coach in Sean McVay, so you know that he's going to be scheming up a plan that's going to make it difficult for Daniel Jones. With that said, though, can't go with that many points. Hard to do that. Excellent point, Alex.
Giants. So we're both Giants. Henderson Jr. looks good for the Rams, too. But, all right, so then you have Sunday night. We have Eagles at 49ers, the 0-2-1 Eagles, which I'm sure everybody was really happy about that. Playing for the tie and punting in overtime at the 49ers, who are 2-1. So the Eagles are getting 6.5 points. Your thoughts?
I like the Eagles here. Carson Wentz, this is a put up or shut up moment for him. He's been really putrid in the first 3 games of the season. And I think for him, it's a time for him to shine and put out the game that we expect of him. Okay. I don't think the Eagles are as bad. They're bad, but it's time for Carson Wentz to put out and have a good game. I mean, he's just due for it. There's a lot of pressure on his shoulders ever since Nick Foles won that championship. Whatever he does there won't be good enough. I think he's going to finally have a good game. I know the 49ers, we saw them last week versus the Giants. Even though they were banged up, they have so much depth on that defensive line. They were still able to wreak havoc against the Giants. I think against an Eagles team, it'll be a little more difficult. So I like the Eagles to win here, not only with everything with Carson.
And cover. Got it. So, they're getting the points. So, yeah. Okay, so they'll get – so, all right, yeah, I think I'm going with the Eagles too. But I think the 49ers, I think they got those 2 wins over the crappy Jets and Giants, and I know they were all injured, but I think this is when, I'm sure that's a favorite sports term of yours. When they turn into a pumpkin, this is when they turn into a pumpkin, and the Eagles take it. I agree there. So now we have Monday night. Falcons at Packers. The Falcons are getting 7.5. The Falcons are 0-3 and have blown 3 leads, I think, or at least 2. And the Packers are 3-0, and they look incredible. But there is no weather in Lambeau. But you know what I'm saying? It's not like in December or November in Lambeau. It's a dome team, but it's not the same. There's no fans. I think I'm going to go with the Falcons covering here because I think they'll keep it close, not that they'll win. So I'm going to go with the Falcons here, so getting 7.5.
The Falcons are a weird team because they're 0-3, but like you mentioned, they've been in every game. They've been leading in every game. They should have wins on their column. They're like the best 0-3
ever.
team. Right, whatever it might be. They're playing decently. They just collapse in all these games. So you look at this scenario, go, which way is it going to go? Or is it going to go where they finally put it together, they can hold off a team and they get a win? Or after 0-3, devastating losses, their back breaks, they just don't come out with any effort because they're like, fuck this. We're going to lose anyway. They get destroyed by Aaron Rodgers. I have a good feeling about the Falcons this week. I think Dan Quinn knows the deal. He's going to be coaching for his life.
Right.
And because they've been in so many games, and Aaron Rodgers in team is due for a letdown, so give me the Falcons there.
Yeah, same. So we're all 3. We're the same. So Giants and Eagles and Falcons, all 3 the same. It's okay. We're the same. You're still not going to take the lead on me next week, so that's
fine.
Good. So I'm up 2-1.
I might just copy everything you do until the last week, and then go opposite. Although next week I'll go first. How about that?
Okay, that's cool.
That work?
Good. Sounds good. All right. So now, everybody's favorite time, the weekly poll question.
Let's do it.
Okay. Drum roll. Okay. So, Knicks fans, are you interested in the Knicks trading for Victor Oladipo? He has 1 more year on his contract for $21 million. Yes or no? Very general question, but just a question. What do you think?
No.
You think that was the answer, or do you think what should be the answer?
The answer should no. I mean, I would think Knicks fans do not want Victor Oladipo on their roster. That doesn't seem to make sense.
Okay, and that was right. But it wasn't as high as I thought. It's 66% no, which is surprising. High. I think obviously it's not all Knicks fans voting. So, but we had a good amount of votes. Almost 500. So it was a good gauge.
Okay, so what do we got here?
So we got a couple shout outs. So we have EM73 at Monk Ernest. Too much of a risk to give up a lot, and he walks in a year. Plus, I think he wants to go to Miami anyway. I don't know where that came from, but maybe he does. I haven't heard that. Did you hear that? That maybe Oladipo wants to go roll with Riley and Spoelstra out there in Miami? I
have not, but
it's possible. Maybe EM73 has the inside track.
Maybe that's Victor Oladipo's burner.
Maybe with a New York Yankees 27 championships picture.
Smart. It's a good burner.
Throw him off. Yeah, exactly. So then we have Mitch Season at Knicks squad up 9. So Knicks squad up 9. No, what's the point? He says. So, or she. Good point.
That's right to it.
Right to it. Okay. So then we have Knicks fan since 92. So he's at since 92 fan. If the price is right, he's a dog. So he wants him if the price is right, which I don't know what the price would be.
Is that really a rumor?
It's a rumor by one of those guys who says he has sources, but doesn't know we don't know if he really has sources or if he just copies and pastes whatever people say and just puts it together and guesses. So it's one of those. I'm not going to say his name because he doesn't deserve the publicity, but it's been out there and people have been talking about it. So and he's got a year left, so maybe the Pacers want to unload him.
Can you tell me off the record when we're over who it is?
I can. People know. If you follow me, you know. Okay. At Nick Central. Follow me on Twitter. So next we have Tony Stark, unanimous MVP. He's at Nope, not EBS. He goes, terrible fit next to RJ. So he's a no. Then we have Yef Frizzle. He's at that one guy, Jeff. Okay. So he goes, nope. Too many injuries. And you know how giving guys coming off multiple injuries in a 4 or 5 year span has turned out for us. So he is against it. And then we have your favorite at L_Nino201 with his well thought out responses. That's my guy. He goes, nope. If he comes here, let him sign on his own. If we were to trade any first rounders for a guy, it would need to be a top tier player, not a second or third tier guy to pair along with RJ. Besides, I'm not sure he would fit with RJ. LOL. So El Nino wins again. So, there we go.
I like the long-winded response. To me, like I would be like, to me, Oladipo's like, are the Nets going to give up Karras for Oladipo? And I'm like, that's the kind of trade. Not that I would want to do that, but at least it kind of makes sense, like the third star gimmick.
maybe next year he's fully recovered from his injury and he comes back to close to what he was before the injury, which sucked, man, because he was like becoming a legit star with the Pacers. Yeah, and it was
disappointing.
Sad. Yeah, or like my dad calls him Home Depot, not Oladipo.
Victor Oladipo.
So we have Oladipo, and then there was the other. Oh, so yesterday, real quick before we end, Buddy Hield said he hates Luke Walton, or that's the sources say he hates Luke Walton now.
Oh, okay. And I thought he was on the Kevin Durant podcast and said it.
Probably next episode he will be. Well, he's not big enough, and he doesn't ruin the Nets locker room, so he's not going to go on there. But I'm sorry, I had to do it.
Fine.
So, Buddy Hield says he doesn't like Luke Walton anymore, or they haven't talked in months, which, maybe it's because they haven't played in months, but I don't know. So that's the rumor and the sources out there that are saying that. So all the hypotheticals are going out there. Would you trade for him if you're the Knicks? I'd rather go for him over Oladipo. What are your thoughts? And I'll give you mine.
I agree. He's cheaper, younger, more upside based on that. He can shoot. I mean, I don't, He would be a decent fit if they could bring him in. I'd be okay with that for the right price. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Buddy Hield.
And I'm not one of those guys.
Although he went to college for 4 years, so maybe he's not that much. Maybe he
younger. Sucks. Yeah, oh yeah, he's trash. Well, he's trash.
He's bad, but I'm just saying age. He might not be that much younger than.
Yeah.
I don't know. To be fair,
I don't know what his age is either, but he's definitely on his. He just got paid. So hold on. Let's see. Buddy Hield age.
So he's probably 26, if I had to guess.
27. Wow, December too. So he'll be 28 when this.
And what's Oladipo?
Oh, okay.
I'm okay with guys going to college for 4 years, but it's like when they do,
he's 28, same age. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. But when they do, sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's just interesting. He went to college for 4 years, so I knew he was, even though he hasn't been in the league that long. Yeah, I knew he was going to be a little bit older in that sense. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I love Julius Randle, and I'm not one of those Knicks fans who are like, oh my God, you got to trade Julius Randle. He sucks. He doesn't suck. He was just in a terrible situation last year. He's not a star player. He's a 3 or 4 or 5th option, and he can really, really help a team off the bench maybe, or even starting, but in the right role. But if you're going to trade, let's say, Julius Randle and Dennis Smith Jr. for Buddy Hield and Bogdanovich or just somebody like that, then if Bogdanovich is even there, one of the Bogdanoviches, I don't know, whatever, just Buddy Hield and name another Kings player that fits, I'm doing that because I think Buddy Hield fits there, and then you draft best player available at 8 and then 26 or 27. I got to remember what pick it is, 26 or 27. I always forget. But either one, and I need a point guard in that draft, and then you sign a veteran point guard like, a Dragic or somebody. I don't think Dragic's leaving, but you know what I mean? You sign somebody at that level, then, or Augustin, and away we go. And let's see what happens this year, and let's see how RJ and Mitch can develop. And Mitch will be, shooting threes and be in the 3-point shooting contest. You know what I'm saying? So let's see.
Or Joe Harris. You signed Joe Harris.
Joe Harris. Yeah, Joe Harris. There you go. Joe Harris or Gallinari or Marcus Morris or Davis Bertans and Danilo Gallinari. Let's go. One of them. Let's go. Let's make this team better. Let's go. First round matchup next year. Knicks as the 7th seed and Nets as the 2 seed. We're going to those games.
If we're allowed.
If we're allowed. We're going anyway. We'll sit outside.
I'm not even trying to be.
I know.
Funny. I would do that. I will do that.
Yes, we will broadcast live from.
We could. Lot. I mean, you could.
Well, there's no parking lot.
You could broadcast live. You could do it in the arena.
Yeah. Well, how is anybody going to know? We'll just stand there with our phones and we'll just have a phone conversation standing next to each other.
We could.
All right. Well, another good episode.
Yes, passionate.
Yeah.
You can see the lighting here is I've been all over the place in my makeshift studio today.
I know, man. You get it together, bro. What the fuck?
I know. Look at that. Look at this.
No, thanks to Kyrie and Kevin Durant for promoting their podcast, and so we can have something to talk about.
Definitely, content
sucks.
So you're learning now too. You hear these quotes, you're not even mad. You're just like, okay, good. We got some content.
Content is key. With content with a K.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we got to live by.
Don't forget, check out the Bad Weather Fans on YouTube. You can find our YouTube page where you can see this video. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go ahead, give a comment, give a 5-star rating. It's greatly appreciated. It helps. Yeah, I don't know how, but it does. So you got to do it. And just download this podcast. Tell your friends. Tell your Net fan friends. Tell your Knick fan friends. Tell them how annoying I was about the Nets, and I defended everything Kyrie Irving said on this podcast and didn't give him any shit. You can do that too. Or at Knicks for clicks. Was that your Twitter? At Knicks Central.
At Knicks Central. Thank you.
You should change your name to at Knicks for clicks. Could you do that? No. Funny?
Yeah, that would be funny. I should change my name like Alex B to Knicks for clicks. I think that'd be funny.
And don't forget theprosclub.com. Other great podcasts on there. More content for you to get. Alex, we will I got to see who Kevin Durant has on their pod next week. Something you got to say? Something you want?
I think you're going to be on his pod next. Yeah. No, but
That'd be sick.
Real quick, 3 shout outs, 5-star ratings on our Apple pod. My boy Chris LeBron, I was on his podcast, Off the Ball podcast. He dropped the comment for us. Mike and my guy Alex bring it every show, and a great chemistry for a Net and Knicks fan doing a show with a laughing emoji. Great show, fellas. Keep it up. Then we have Base Jew, JU, Dope Pod. Love the host and the back and forth between them. And then we have Andrew M425. Love it. Great content and insight on New York sports. And let's do one more. Powerman02. Good listen. Great pod that makes being a fan of some misfortune teams a bit easier. I recommend it. So there we go. We'll read some more next time. Thanks for the 5 stars.
How nice are the Nets going to wear the Net throwbacks?
Are they?
The baby blue, the Drazen jerseys.
Oh, those are great, man.
Those are great. They're going to wear them, which I'm so happy about because the Nets have not embraced their New Jersey history,
no,
which you want to get me.
They don't care about you, bro.
Because which has annoyed me.
Yeah.
But they're going to do it this year, which I'm super excited about.
That is cool. No, those are the best.
Come
jerseys.
Together on something that we agree with.
Yes, thankfully. And I'm not talking about the Dr. J New York Net ones. I'm talking about the jersey.
Check it out.
Those are great. Fantastic. Derek Coleman, Kenny Anderson, those
Sexy
guys.
Shit.
All
right, Alex.
Yes. All right. Rest in peace. All right. Talk to you later.
All right. See you guys.